Hey guys, it's Claudia from Cascade FM, and today with us we have Chris Zurich. So how did you get started with music, Chris?
I got started with music when I was a teenager, and I had switched from a small private school to a big public school, and so I was the new kid coming in, and for maybe a few months, long time, it felt to me that I didn't have a lot of friends, and this girl next to me slipped me a mixtape, and it had all what became all my favorite bands.
Did you ever thank her for getting you started?
Yeah, actually, I'm still in touch with it.
That's amazing. Okay, and what instrument did you start out with?
I started when I was young. My mom always said that I sang, but then she noticed that I was into music and signed me up for piano lessons when I was around 10 years old. And then at 13, when you naturally get into more like rock and other stuff like that, I started taking guitar lessons.
So what's your songwriting process like?
I would say that in the past, the music was a little bit more priority to me, and as I've gotten older, I realized that I was maybe putting lyrics secondary, and people weren't understanding who I was and what I was about, and that's really important to me, that that music speaks, conveys a message, and so now I'm kind of putting the lyrics first. So in the past, where I would strum on a guitar and I'd hum, and I'd wait for that really special idea to come, and then I would start to build around it. You'd have that one little nugget, and then you'd find other things that work with it, and then I put words to it.
Take me back to what I always knew, singing songs inside my childhood room. I was just happy I might one day find a voice that's big enough to speak my mind, but oh God, I changed, Ooh, sometimes I feel, sometimes I feel, who knew you'd be there, who knew you'd be there, who knew you'd be there, these destinations we choose.
And the two songs you just sang for us, what are they about?
The first song, Destinations, is about my move to New York, because I was living in Philadelphia. I was working a job that I wasn't really liking. I was living with my family. I was just, I was sort of in denial that I eventually wanted to be a musician. I was trying to live this normal 9-to-5 life. And at a certain point I realized that I was doing myself an injustice, because you only live once, and I was running out of time to really make this music thing a reality for me. And so I quit my job, and I left my family behind and moved to New York, sort of just really quickly, and just dove in head first with the music thing. And so Destinations, these destinations we choose, is the line in the song.
Sometimes I feel like you're only there because I can't tell you what I feel. The truth is just too real. I never wanted you to stay, but every time I push away, you have the right words on your mind, and we delay this one more time. You're my crutch, yeah, you're my crutch, oh, you're my crutch, yeah, you're my.
The second song is more of a relationship one, and I think originally when I wrote it, it was a little bit on a negative tip, because I was saying to the girl, the hook is that you're my crutch, and I was sort of saying you're just a crutch to me, I'm not interested. It's pushing her away. And then I put that song away and came back to it years later and realized that it could be interpreted differently, that it could be you're my crutch, or something that I lean on, I depend on, and so the song actually evolved for me.
Changed completely the whole
Changed completely.
And so going back to New York, since you're not from here, what do you think of the New York scene, the music scene?
So I fantasized about moving to New York when back in the 2008, 9, 10, and I think back then Brooklyn was the best music scene in the world at that point, and so I was sort of stepping into it and visiting it on the weekends, and really wanting to make it my own. And so by the time I actually moved here, unfortunately, I felt like a lot of those people had moved on. They'd moved to LA and other places. And so while I don't think New York is what it was from 2000 to 2010, I still think, I found my little niche. I have my own little scene. I have musicians that are, friends of mine that are performing at a really high level, and we have our own little thing. And I live in Jersey City, so, New York and Jersey City are
very close.
Yeah.
So you're not planning on living anytime soon?
No, I like New York a lot.
And one last question, what do you think of Cascade?
I love Cascade. I feel like in American culture that arts and music are sort of seen as not realistic options for you. And if people ask you what you want to do and you say music, they sort of laugh at you and they say, what do you really want to do? And what I like about what you guys do is you offer an opportunity for musicians to actually start making money and build an audience. And I think the longer you can last and stay above water and survive, the better chance you have of actually, making it to your goal instead of getting knocked out of the game. And so I think you guys allow musicians to stay alive.
Thank you very much.